On August 5, 2010, the ceiling of the San Jose mine in the Atacama Desert shattered. 700,000 tons of rock crashed through the main tunnel, filling the air with a suffocating cloud of dust and entirely sealing off the exit. 33 men were trapped 700 meters underground, twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. They immediately tried to climb out through the ventilation shafts, but the safety ladders required by mining codes were missing. With the shafts blocked, the men were forced into an emergency refuge measuring just 50 square meters. The environment inside was punishing. The ambient temperature hovered at a constant 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and the humidity was so high that water poured down the rock walls. The rockfall created the physical trap, but the immediate threat to their survival was panic. In a dark, enclosed space with 33 terrified people, a breakdown of order would cause a vacuum of chaos that could kill them faster than the environment itself. This grid shows the emergency supply found in the refuge: a few cans of tuna, a little milk, and some crackers. It was enough to feed 10 men for 2 days. If the trapped miners consumed those calories at a normal rate, the entire supply drops to zero in less than 48 hours. After that, biological starvation begins. Defeating this mathematical reality meant the group had to completely override their own hunger cues. They had to act as a single, perfectly coordinated unit to stretch a 2-day supply over an indefinite timeline. Shift supervisor Luis Urzua realized that ruling by force would only breed resentment and mutiny. Instead, he instituted a strict one-man, one-vote democracy. For any major decision to become law, at least 17 men had to raise their hands. The group voted on an extreme economic policy: 2 spoonfuls of tuna, a sip of milk, 1 bite of canned fruit, every 48 hours. This chart tracks the physical cost of that policy over the first 17 days of total isolation. Operating on severe caloric deficits, the men's bodies began consuming their own muscle mass. Each miner lost an average of 18 pounds. Enduring the exact same deprivation meant nobody could claim unfair treatment. That shared suffering cemented their social contract, preventing deadly infighting or hoarding. To combat the psychological rot of isolation, Urzua assigned every man a specific, vital purpose. Preventing idleness through work became as important as finding food. This map of the tunnel network reveals their strict organization. Jimmy Sanchez monitored air quality for sleeping areas, far from biological waste zones, while Yanni Barrios acted as camp doctor. They also mapped spaces for psychological survival, like Mario Gomez's makeshift chapel for daily prayers. By establishing a division of labor, the miners eliminated the psychological toll of inactivity. They transformed from victims of a cave-in into active survivors of their own micro-society. On day 17, an exploratory drill bit pierced the roof ramp near the refuge. Before it was pulled back to the surface, the miners attached a note written in red marker: "Estamos bien en el refugio, los 33." Finding them did not mean immediate rescue. Whitening a shaft required pneumatic percussive hammer bits to tunnel straight through 700 meters of solid, abrasive rock. The miners were briefed on the complex requirements of the extraction plans, which would take months. Because their underground society was already stable, they calmly endured an additional 52 days underground while the surface teams worked. Surface crews deployed sophisticated technology from NASA and global mining corporations, but all of that external engineering would have been useless if the internal society of the mine hadn't kept the men alive to receive it. The miners divided themselves into 3 groups for the extraction: the skilled, the weak, and the strong. This order ensured that the first men out could communicate technical issues, while the strong stayed behind to manage the anxiety of the final weight. Each man stepped into the Fénix 2, a steel capsule just 21 inches wide. They then endured a claustrophobic, individual ascent through bare rock to the surface. One by one, the men emerged. After 69 days, shift supervisor Luis Urzua strapped himself into the capsule, becoming the 33rd and final man to reach the surface. The Copiapó rescue was a feat of engineering, but its success rested on a much older truth. In the face of disaster, humanity's greatest survival tool is our ability to organize, communicate, and lead one another in the dark.